Olivia stood shivering outside the glass doors of her luxury apartment building, the rain soaking through her designer coat. Her sleek hair clung to her face, and her heels clicked impatiently on the wet marble as she tried calling the concierge, again. No answer. Her driver had already left, assuming she'd gone inside. She cursed under her breath, frustration and embarrassment brewing beneath her polished exterior. Being locked out wasn't just inconvenient, it was a crack in the image she worked so hard to maintain. Inside the building's lobby, Max had just stepped in with his sleepy 6-year-old daughter, Emma, curled in his arms. Dressed in a worn hoodie and jeans, Max looked every bit the tired single dad who'd just finished a long shift. As he glanced through the glass and saw Olivia standing there alone, his instincts kicked in. She didn't look like someone used to asking for help, but something in her eyes, tired and vulnerable, made him pause. Gently shifting Emma to his shoulder, he stepped toward the door and pushed it open. "Ma'am, are you okay?" he asked, his voice low and kind. Olivia hesitated, her pride flaring for a moment. She didn't know this man. But the rain was getting colder, and no one else seemed to care. I locked myself out," she finally admitted, avoiding eye contact. Max offered a small smile and motioned for her to come inside. "Let's get you out of the rain. My sister lives here, I can help you talk to someone at the desk." As Olivia stepped inside, warm air surrounding her, she glanced at the little girl in his arms, peacefully asleep. For the first time that night, she felt something shift inside her, something she hadn't felt in a long time: gratitude. Inside the dimly lit lobby, the hum of a vending machine was the only sound breaking the silence. Olivia sat stiffly on a bench, arms crossed, water dripping from her coat. Max returned with 2 steaming cups of cocoa. One for her, and one for Emma, who now lay curled on a nearby seat, wrapped in Max's hoodie like a blanket. Olivia accepted the cup with a quiet "thanks," unsure how to act. It had been years since she'd made small talk with a stranger, especially one who seemed so ordinary. "You live here?" she asked, trying to sound casual. Max shook his head. "Staying with my sister for a few weeks. She's out of town. I just got off work at the hospital. Janitorial staff." He smiled down at his daughter. "She waits up for me every night." Olivia looked at Emma, her little hands wrapped around the cocoa cup in her sleep. "She's lucky to have you," she said softly, surprising even herself. Max shrugged. "I'm the lucky one." They sat in silence for a moment, sipping cocoa. Olivia wasn't used to people like Max, humble, kind, quietly resilient. She didn't tell him she was the CEO of a billion-dollar tech firm. Instead, she simply said, "I work in tech." Max nodded. "Cool. My daughter loves computers, robots, actually. Says she's gonna build one to clean her room." That made Olivia smile. Before she could respond, Max stood and tapped his building access card on a panel, managing to get through to a security line. He handed her the phone. "You can talk to someone now, they'll send help soon." Olivia stared at him, unexpectedly touched. He didn't ask for anything. Didn't judge her. Just helped. And in that moment, she realized how rare that truly was. The hallway outside Olivia's apartment was quiet, lit by the soft glow of overhead lights. The locksmith was on the way, but the wait stretched longer than expected. Olivia leaned against the wall, her wet coat now folded over her arm. Emma, more awake now and sipping the last of her cocoa, looked up at her with wide, curious eyes. "Are you a princess?" the little girl asked, eyeing Olivia's elegant dress and heels. Olivia laughed, the sound softer than usual. "No, not quite. I work with computers. I help build things that go inside them." Emma's eyes lit up. "Like robots?" "Kind of," Olivia smiled, kneeling to Emma's level. "Do you like robots?" "I love them. I want to build a robot that does my homework, Emma beamed. Olivia grinned, genuinely charmed. That's a very smart idea. As they talked, Olivia stole a glance at Max. He sat nearby, leaning against the wall with his head resting back, eyes closed just for a moment. His sneakers were worn, his jeans faded, his face lined with quiet exhaustion. But there was peace there, too. Pride. Love. A man who worked hard and gave everything he had for his little girl. Olivia's smile slowly faded into thought. She hadn't seen something so pure in a long time. In Emma's enthusiasm, she saw a reflection of her own childhood dreams. In Max's quiet resilience, she saw a strength that couldn't be measured by wealth or power. As the locksmith finally arrived and began working on her door, Olivia remained still, watching this father and daughter, two strangers who, without knowing it, had just reminded her of something she hadn't felt in years, the beauty of simplicity, and the kind of love that doesn't need to be spoken to be understood. The next morning, Max stood outside Emma's school, the afternoon sun warming his tired shoulders. He had just finished another long shift and came straight to pick her up, as always. But something felt different today. As he approached the entrance, he spotted a familiar figure standing near the principal, Olivia. She was dressed simply this time, in jeans and a soft blazer, her hair down, her expression calm and kind. Max slowed his steps, puzzled. What was she doing here? The principal turned as he approached, beaming. Mr. Carter. Great timing. We were just talking about Emma. Max glanced between them. Is everything okay? More than okay, the principal said. Emma has been awarded a full scholarship to the Horizon STEM Academy. Robotics, coding, mentorship, it's all covered. Anonymous sponsor, but, well, not so anonymous anymore. Max looked to Olivia, stunned. She stepped forward, her voice quiet but firm. You helped me without knowing who I was. You saw someone who needed kindness, and you gave it freely. I can't forget that. Max blinked, his throat tightening. I didn't do anything special. You did more than you know, she said, her eyes glassy. And Emma, she reminded me of the girl I used to be. Curious, bold, full of ideas. He looked at his daughter, now coming out of the school gates, waving with that same bright energy. A lump rose in his chest. I don't know how to thank you, he whispered. Olivia smiled softly. You already did. Tears welled up in Max's eyes as he bent to hug Emma. In that moment, he realized the smallest gesture of kindness had unlocked a door to a future his daughter never dared dream. And all because he chose to help a stranger in the rain. The community center buzzed with energy as kids proudly displayed their inventions at the local STEM showcase. Among them, Emma stood confidently beside her homemade robot, a clunky but functional creation made from recycled parts. Her eyes sparkled as she explained its sensors and commands to a group of curious parents and judges. Pinned to her shirt was a bright badge that read, Future Engineer. In the audience, Olivia watched with pride, her heart full. No longer just a CEO in a high-rise, she was now Emma's mentor, guiding her through tech camps, weekend workshops, and dreams once too big to imagine. Standing beside her was Max, beaming with quiet joy as he took in the sight of his daughter thriving. He leaned slightly toward Olivia, his voice soft. That night. I thought I was just helping a stranger. She turned to him, eyes warm. You were helping someone who forgot what real kindness looked like. For a moment, they stood in silence, watching Emma high-five her classmates and give her robot a victory spin. The past year had changed all of them, shifting priorities, deepening values, and creating a bond that didn't need labels. As the lights dimmed for closing remarks and applause filled the room, a gentle voiceover echoed the heart of it all. Sometimes, the smallest act of kindness unlocks a door to a future no one ever imagined. This is a story about how a single act of kindness can change not just one life, but many. What began as a chance encounter on a rainy night, one tired father helping a stranger locked out of her apartment, blossomed into something far greater. Max didn't know that the woman he helped was a powerful CEO, nor did he expect anything in return. But through his selflessness, Olivia was reminded of the humanity she had long forgotten in her fast-paced, success-driven world. In Emma, Olivia saw a spark of her younger self. A girl with dreams, potential, and curiosity. And in Max, she saw quiet strength, sacrifice, and unconditional love. Their worlds, so different, were brought together by compassion and hope. A year later, we don't just see a young girl building robots, we see the impact of empathy, the result of one man's kindness, and the power of someone choosing to pay it forward. Olivia didn't just change Emma's future, she found a renewed purpose herself. Because sometimes, we're not just unlocking doors, we're unlocking hearts, dreams, and destinies. In the end, it's not who you are that matters most, but what you choose to do when no one's watching.